Hi, PerspectiveWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday, April 23rd. A very active weather pattern continues across the nation. We've talked about the continuation of cold air outbreaks into the central and eastern U.S. This time of the year, anytime you get continuation of cold air outbreaks from the northwest to the southeast into the central and eastern U.S., you combine that with increasingly warm and humid air down in the southern U.S., that all leads to a very active weather pattern, one that also contains the likelihood for some severe weather. We have another severe weather threat today down across the southeastern part of the nation as yet another storm in a series of storms presses to the east from the Mississippi Valley towards the mid-Atlantic coastline. Looks like the mid-Atlantic region will experience more rain from today well into the day on Friday, and then another storm can impact the mid-Atlantic region from late Saturday into Sunday as this chilly and stormy pattern continues. There are even some showers this morning up across southeastern Pennsylvania, well ahead of the low pressure system, that are actually producing some ice pellets. It's that cold, very unusually cold for this late in the month of April for some ice pellets, but it's actually happening over the last hour or so across southeastern Pennsylvania. The main area of rainfall associated with this upcoming storm will arrive later today and continue well into the day on Friday. Let's first take a look at the 850 millibar temperature anomaly pattern. This is from the 0Z run of the ensemble version of the GFS. What we're looking at are 5-day averages of the 850 millibar temperature anomalies from this current 5-day period all the way into the first week of May. And we'll just take a look at how cold it is relative to normal in the central and eastern U.S. Again, below normal conditions here in the much of the Great Lakes region all the way through the northeast U.S. and mid-Atlantic region for this current 5-day period. We'll just step through. There's days 2 to 6, 3 to 7, 4 to 8, 5 to 9, 6 to 10, and now we're already getting at the end of April into the early part of May, days 7 to 11. And keep in mind, the ensemble run tends to smooth things out as you go forward in time because it tends to rely more and more on climatology. So it looks like maybe moderately below normal in the days 7 to 11 could actually turn out to be a little bit more severe than that as things smooth out. Here's days 8 to 12, days 9 to 13. This is actually the first 5 days of May now, May 1st to May 6th. Continuation of this type of pattern all the way out, as far out as this can go, which is days 12 to 16, May 4th to May 9th. Again, really, I wouldn't say no end in sight, but certainly it looks like this cold air outbreak situation will continue right into the first week of May, and along with it will be a stormy weather pattern that which will also contain the threat for severe weather, especially across the southern states. Well, here's the current radar loop from WSI's Intellicast.com. First of all, not too difficult to find this next storm that is affecting the eastern U.S. This swirl in the radar echoes right in this region right here. Low pressure centered right over the Tennessee Valley region. A lot of showers and thunderstorms down across the southeastern U.S. and again, an enhanced risk for some severe weather places like Georgia, at least the southern half of Alabama into South Carolina. Look at right here in eastern Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania. A band of showers has formed, cold enough, believe it or not, this late in the month of April for some ice pellets in the suburbs of Philadelphia, for example, and up across upstate Pennsylvania, cold enough for some snow right now. And again, very chilly air mass for the last few days, way below normal for this time of the year, and again, a continuation of these cold air outbreaks right into the month of May. Well, let's start off in the analysis of today's storm system by looking at the 850 millibar moisture transport. Basically, this is showing where the moisture is feeding in at the lower levels of the atmosphere. Low pressure situated here over the Mississippi Valley this morning at 850 millibars, and all of this basically just represents the a tremendous influx of warm and humid air into the southeastern flank of this particular storm, as represented on this particular map by the pink area here. Very high moisture feeding in from the Gulf of Mexico into the southeast U.S. Again, raises the threat for severe weather in this part of the country, and basically is helping to generate quite a storm that will slide to the east, northeast today towards the mid-Atlantic coastline by tomorrow. All of this moisture not only will aid in the potential of some severe weather, of the development of some severe thunderstorms this afternoon in the southeastern U.S., but it will also contribute to a soaking rainfall in the mid-Atlantic region in the overnight hours well into the day on Friday. And given the pretty saturated soil conditions due to recent rainfall, we're going to have an increasing chance of some localized flooding, not only with this storm later tonight into the day on Friday, but there's another storm to follow over the upcoming weekend. Certainly will be approaching us over the weekend with some wet soil conditions following this Thursday-Friday rain event here in the Mid-Atlantic region. Well, let's now take a look at the 0Z run of the operational version of the GFS, and we're looking at 500 millibar height anomalies. I just want to point out how active this weather pattern is. When you get cold air outbreaks coming all the way into the central and eastern U.S. from central or northern Canada, that tells you right off the bat that the upper level jet stream is still very strong, very active across the U.S. Sometimes this time of the year it's already begun its retreat to the north, and the nation is under the influence of milder air and maybe a quieter weather pattern, but we still have a very active jet stream aloft cutting across the nation. Multiple waves of energy are ensuring a very active weather pattern for the next couple of weeks, and again, it's all combined with these cold air outbreaks into the central and eastern U.S. Just want to point out here, these blue areas show upper level troughs, basically waves of energy in the upper part of the atmosphere. We'll see how this just pattern continues for days on end. Here's the storm system we're dealing with today and tomorrow in the eastern third of the nation. And let's just kind of quickly go forward here. Again, there's the center of that particular system by late tonight and then on Friday. And this rain that develops today will linger well into the day on Friday in places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. Then we get into tomorrow night, Saturday morning, and here's the next wave, and it takes pretty much the same track as this first storm system, the Thursday-Friday storm system, and then there's a late Saturday-Sunday storm system right here with that next wave, again moving over the Mississippi, Tennessee Valley region and sliding to the east-northeast towards the Mid-Atlantic region. Has a foothold in the area over the weekend. Saturday itself may turn out to be partly sunny for much of the day in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, but by the end of the day, and certainly Saturday night into the day on Sunday, it looks like this next storm will impact the region. Here we are now by Monday morning. That passes on by, and yet another cold air mass for this time of the year arrives in the Mid-Atlantic region during the early part of next week. And we'll just quickly move forward, and here we go. Look at this, another wave of energy taking a little different track from south central Canada across the Great Lakes into the northeast U.S. That could throw some more rain into the mid-Atlantic northeast U.S. maybe Tuesday night, Wednesday of next week. Meanwhile, the western states will enjoy some decent weather, warm and certainly much less in the way of precipitation. But while the western half of the nation is warm, the eastern half of the nation will continue stormy and quite chilly for this time of year. Well, let's wrap up by looking at the surface forecast maps from the 0Z operational GFS run. Starting off the day on Thursday, here we go. Cold high pressure over southeastern Canada. This is kind of the pattern that snow lovers in the eastern U.S. would have loved to have seen during December, January, or February. But even in April, it can be cold enough to cause some frozen precipitation. Again, some ice pellets in the last hour west of Philadelphia, and the pink here represents some more ice areas. Here's the next storm over the Mississippi Valley as of Thursday morning, and it slides to the north and east, and very strong likelihood for some heavy thunderstorms, some strong to severe thunderstorms across places like Georgia and South Carolina, maybe even into the northern half of Florida later today into the early part of the evening hours. That can extend all the way back to Alabama as well. But rain, kind of a steadier rain, develops later today in the D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. There certainly can be some shower activity this morning into the afternoon, but the steadiest stuff comes later in the day and overnight tonight. There can be some soaking rainfall, and again with the pretty wet soil conditions here, watch out for some localized flooding, maybe even a rumble of thunder in some areas as that low pressure moves from the Mississippi Valley pretty much east-northeast right across the Mid-Atlantic region and hangs on for much of the day. This is the Friday evening forecast map. Just then does it finally reach the Mid-Atlantic coastline, pretty much ruins the day on Friday in Philly, New York City, D.C., a chilly rainfall. Temperatures probably tomorrow afternoon hanging around the 50 to 55 degree range in that I-95 corridor region, way below normal for this time of the year. A little bit of a break in the action on Saturday morning into the afternoon hours. Again, it could be a partly sunny day for the most part. But here we go again, a strong wave of energy aloft, which we saw a moment ago. By the early part of the weekend, will set off the development of yet another storm, potentially some more severe weather down across the southeastern states. This storm looks like it heads into the Mid-Atlantic region in the Saturday night, Sunday time frame. Maybe even a rumble of thunder with that system as well. That slides on by here by the latter part of the weekend. Here we are at the Sunday evening forecast map. Still a low pressure area at all levels of the atmosphere, dogging the Great Lakes, the Mid-Atlantic, the Northeast U.S. at the end of the weekend. And here we go by Monday morning. It finally pulls away, but look at this, another cold shot coming. Again, stiff northwest winds likely late Sunday night and Monday, with yet another cold shot for this time of the year moving into the Mid-Atlantic region and Northeast U.S. So a continuation of a very active weather pattern, looks like, for the next couple of weeks, with a continuation of cold air outbreaks for the latter part of April from Canada into the central and eastern U.S., and that certainly will combine with increasingly warm and humid air down across the southern states to give them multiple opportunities for severe weather, including later today into early tonight across the southeast U.S. That's it for now. For PerspectiveWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.